Well now. It's certainly colorful in here. In the evil throne room computer lab. Now I sit in the chair. Ooh, there's water on the ceiling. That's not how water works. What's going on over here? Oh. I guess this is Smollax Memett. We get to know what he's like. Alright. Just video messages, no titles, no other text. They all say the same thing about where they came from and who sent them. So we just have to go by facial expressions.
Vamir! My old friend. I hope I'm not disturbing you. I assume you're down there on Neyyah Site 28? Working hard, I hope. Looking at recent deliveries from other Neyyah sites, I'd say some serious competition is coming your way. Also, just a reminder, if I don't see progress on the dome's construction, I will hold you personally responsible. Maybe it will put the half-baked brains of my men at ease, knowing the curse has been lifted. Their foolish falsehoods of whispered voices can finally be extinguished. Now, while I admire your search for alternative power sources besides the Pieter, I feel you are getting too close to that Validian. Go now, my dear Vamir. I await your report on the Felitsu routes.
He sounds a little racist with the way that he said that word that I don't understand very well.
The Neyyah spore. Beautiful, powerful, potent. Wouldn't you agree, my dear Vamir? We must conserve the Galithium, and yet we must up the dosage for the well-being of the people. Perhaps the Neyyah plants are getting zapped by Zypherfish, or maybe the spores are releasing too early. You should double-check the heaters. Or maybe the spores are randomly getting weaker, their power withering, their potency waning, for no reason at all. Neyyah Site 28 is losing its power, Vamir. It must be, because the Olujayrians are forsaking the spores. If you can't find a way to increase the potency, I will sink your beloved Neyyah beneath the waves. Check the tank for Zypherfish and eradicate them. We can't afford interruptions. Not if we are to finally be reunited with him.
So yeah, he's the villain. Up to and including having like one of the go-to villain accents, which is funny. Wild lines of dialogue to have to say out loud where you just, there's so many linked together proper nouns where you're like, what is... Okay. I wonder if the actor knew what he was saying to some extent.
It finally happened. Didn't I say it'd be unwise to keep that wretched portal standing? The debris doesn't concern me. It could have affected the spore farming systems. We were lucky. This time. My workers speak of whispers and believe the site is cursed. What happens when they refuse to maintain the Banoxy eye portals? Who will step in then? You! Myself! My focus lies here in the temple, at the Laflomian portal. As should yours. The Yopalesh was but a means to an end. That technology faded away years ago. It's true, the Yopalesh did serve us well for a long time. and the Pieta remained in great condition after its transit from the factory to the temple here on Olujay. But now, the Pelorian portal at the old factory, it's in ruins. It's a twisted mess. A corpse, shaped by the greed of its creators, swallowed up by the ocean. Eventually, everything they ever created will fall. Who was it? One of my engineers mentioned to me the last time he was down on site. Orion. That name sounds familiar. Does it mean anything to you? Volca. He graces me with his presence. His machine breath enters my dreams now, more than ever. We are getting close, Vamir. The time is fast approaching where we will once again sail back through the silver rings and behold with our home, Bragnarian. But we need more power. Our Flomian portal remains stable for now, despite the tremors. We can do this. We have to. Keep me informed about Nyaska Site 28.
They did a musical sting which told me that saying the word Orion was a big deal, but I'm genuinely struggling to parse these messages at all. He wants to return to his homeland, I think, and they farm power from spores, but the spores are getting weaker. But this is just not like comprehensible or like emotionally resonant moment to moment. You're like, what is he? We're just kind of like, what is he talking about? The Banox computer system. That text goes beyond the boundaries of the button. That everything they made will fall. I'm like, yeah, everything you don't maintain will fall. That's just how erosion works. System information. Welcome back to the Banox computer system. Powered by servers on your homeland and named after the masters of our bloodline, the Banox computer system will enable you to access various points of information connected to the Neyyah site you are working at on the planet Feyamore. The Banox computer system receives data closely linked to the successful operation of all Neyyah sites. This includes Holtish data, portal status, power, and activity, a variety of console and machine statuses, and email correspondence with your lord, Smollax Memett, plus other connections to the Ronalda Temple. Kerhelta Volka watches down upon you. With machine breath, he thanks you for the harvest of the Neyyah spores and doing your part to bring our broken world closer to him once again. Huh. Is this dragony thing Kerheth Volka? The same emblem the same like structure we've seen periodically like in this emblem, but also like the statues and the transport and so on. Portal activity. After the betrayal of the Vizeltians, their land of Vizeltia and the rest of Feyamore was left for us to upgrade and change as we saw fit. Under his eyes, guiding us, we came to this planet upon one landmass. Now we have access to various lands through the use of old and new portal systems. While some of the technology belonged to the Felzaltians originally, we strive to make our own and make it better. As workers of the Neyyah sites, we have access to these wondrous creations. They are your passengers across the surface of this planet. Select a portal to find out more about them and their specific activity and connection with your Neyyah site. That is a lot of portals. Their specific activity and connection to your Neyyah site. Banoxy eye portals. The Banoxy eye portals were created in Olujay and serve as a means of travel between the 5 zones of the arrival sector. They were all once connected as one whole big landmass, making it the biggest area to exist on Neyyah Site 28. How big is Neyyah Site 28? I don't really know what Neyyah means. Is Neyyah a word that is derivative of Neyyah? So it's like a site on Neyyah 28? Is it region 28 of the planet Neyyah? I kind of thought Neyyah site was so 28 was like small. I thought it was an individual island, honestly. However, in order to protect the recent operations conducted at the Felitsu Dome, due to rising sea levels and increasing climates, the land was separated and linked together via the use of these Banoxy eye portals, named after the creatures whose blood runs through the veins of our masters. What? We believed Volta watches in our world through these portals. Gaze back into his heart and know you are in safe hands upon traversing through these unique portals. Okay. Number in operation, including craft portals 21, updates weekly. Mahili portals. Brought to the design board as an idea by Smollax, Memett, and Vamir Dahili, and helped brought to life with the technology available at Banox Systems Zaliria, South Olujay, and Mahili portals. I don't know what I'm reading. I just don't know what I'm reading. The Mahili portal is still being prototyped across the various Neyyah sites. Built originally, as opposed to all other portals used for Neyyah sites, they operate better when charged by water. Well, they're built horizontally, not built originally. Whoops. So charged by water and built horizontally. A good recommendation would be an abandoned area of Felitsu design that can be filled with seawater. They're expensive to manufacture and should be used for specialized operations. What kind of operations? Like, what do they do specifically? Why would you need so many types of portals is what I'm wondering, because we're not really getting told what the portals do individually. Ocean portals. Ocean portals have been developed by Banox Systems and Smollax Memett to aid in the process of Neyyah spore harvesting, a colossal project taking shape in the Neyyah spore pool collection area of Neyyah Site 28 a while before the betrayal commenced. Since then, the ocean portal, along with powerful Neyyah systems, have evolved in their designs and technological power. Elevator sector has had a small ocean portal installed, protecting the Neyyah zone for an operation. What did I learn here? So they're used for spore harvesting before the betrayal commenced. Is just for some reason they're good for spore harvesting? I guess. Don't know what to do with that information. Okay. Pilorian portals. On the Neyyah Site 28, the Pilorian portals serve as exit points for the camera sector. The camera sector? Elevator sector, lab HQ sector, and arrival sector, connecting to the central area of the Neyyah spore collection pools. While the Pilorian pools still use the original Pilorian flower ingredient in its plasma, the real power of these portals now derives from the Kula crystal pods, creating faster transit in locations. To locations. Just any locations? A plasma ring is required for these portals to work. They are built around the same time as the Talita portals, once the Felitsuians separated the original land using their Volk Tower technology. While this ancient technology still remains a mystery to us, with certain areas of Felitsu still receiving power from these bizarre structures, they've pushed our ideas forward in evolving powerful and efficient teleportation devices of our own. 4 of them in operation. That's the portal I used to get here. Well, you climb the ladder for and everything. Oh, click for further information. Components: Pilorian flowers, plasma ring, Kula crystal pod. Huh. Is that what I'm actually learning from each of these? Is the There's no additional information here. No, that's the first one to have additional information, is that this one specifically has 3 components. I'm confused because they say that the technology is a mystery to them, but this is the one that we actually know all the components of, which would suggest that we know how to make these. But there's only 4. Spore pump delivery portal. That's not... I thought the other one was good for spores. There's 2 different ones that are good for spores, I guess. Over time, there have been changes in the methods in which spores from the Neyyah plants have been transported back to Olujay from all the Neyyah sites in Fayamore. There's also a place called Fayamore. The Yoplesh on Neyyah Site 28 remained as a prominent feature and useful delivery system for Olurans. The main purpose was delivering paetas to specific docks set out across Fayamore, but after the betrayal, spores took priority, and paetas have been manufactured on the Oluran labs ever since. These paeta storage stations became spore docks, now linked directly to the Neyyah spore collection pool areas of most Neyyah sites. They have been fitted with a spore pump delivery portal sending collected spores straight to Olujay. They remain switched off until a new delivery is organized. So why did that guy explode? What portal did he go into, and why did it kill him? Talita portals. The Talita portals originate from the ancient Fezaltian technology and history. There are 4 on Neyyah Site 28, which connect Arrival Sector, Camera Sector, Elevator Sector, and Lab HQ Sector to the central Neyyah Spore Collection Pools area. These portals were successfully manipulated on Olujay by a man named Kleidos, another person to keep track of, who managed to route a paeta power-based electromagnetic pulse through the lens of a Talita portal, known to Aljurans as a Jatuke. What? Problems have occurred, however, with the nearby marine life, which populate the current position of the Neyyah heater chamber. Their own natural electromagnetic charges have become an interference with the Jatuke technology. I don't need new terms for the same things. That's just going to make things worse, while also becoming a burden on spore collection in general. The heater chamber has since been sealed off. All Talita portals operate without Jatuke technology in order to sustain stronger portal power, except one portal, which can be alternated between 2 locations. What? One being the remaining spore docks on Neyyah Site 28. All of them operate without Jatuke technology except one that can alternate between 2 locations. Is that the one that went to somewhere else and then went somewhere else? Because didn't I go through a portal twice and went to different places? Are they just explaining that? I think. Also, I think I went into a Pelorian portal and came out a Talita portal, so they're also like cross-compatible in some way. I think. Sure you can. The Shruyuki portal. While all portals are updated to continue operations, their plasma sources running on very similar components, such as the Pelorian flower. The Shruyuki portals, known as travel portals, don't have 2 names for these. There's already like 8 types of portals. They don't need to have more than 1 name each. Remain mostly unattended. Due to the spore docks being shut down, apart from spore dock 1 on Neyyah 28, all Neyyah portals are now sent to the spore docks via chutes connected to the Talita portals, containing old Jatuke technology. All Shruyuki portals are in the process of being shut down. While metallic objects don't react very well when passing through the Shruyuki portals, Neyyah spores present no defects upon transit. Chute systems have been installed at most Neyyah heater chambers to deliver the spores to connecting Talita portals with spore docks 1 using Shruyuki portals. Updates are currently unavailable while work continues to tweak and fix the plasma technology for these specific portals. Is this the one the guy blew up in? Because metal doesn't react well to it or something? Maybe? I'm not sure. I wonder how Toaster would handle all this lore. Like, would he parse it? He understood Elden Ring on his first playthrough, including the twists and everything. So, like, I'm wondering if this would all, like, connect in his brain. Because my problem is that it's so disorienting and full of impenetrable language that I kind of have nothing to hold on to, so I'm just reading a bunch of words out, but I have no scaffolding on which to attach any of the meaning to, so I'm kind of continually not learning anything because all of the writing is impenetrable. So every time I read one of these pages, I'm like, I'm not learning anything here because I don't know... There's so little understanding of everything else I'm reading that I also can't gain any information because it's so cross-referential to so many different things. At the same time, as far as lore entries go, like, I am somebody who used to read the Mass Effect Codex, like, for fun. So, like, it's not because it's sci-fi, and not purely because it has made-up words. Because I have definitely read the codexes of entire fantasy games and sci-fi games and be like, oh yeah, all this stuff. But like, it's because it all is written very differently by professional writers and also like often connectable to the cultures and people that I've met throughout the game that I understand as distinct and interesting. Like the Quarians and whatnot. But like I to this day remember that the guns in Mass Effect 1 operate off of the firing mechanism shaving off tiny pieces of metal from a big block that to the point where they have functionally nearly infinite ammo, but they fire continuously, but the process in which they do that overheats the gun over time, so it has to be fired intermittently or it'll overheat and cease to function. And then in the sequels, they decided that people didn't like that, so they introduced heat sinks in the form that suspiciously resembled ammo magazines or clips or whatever. And so they reintroduced normal gun systems where you reload to a franchise that actually didn't have reloading in the first game. And they incorporated that into the logic of the lore that they already had established for why the guns work that way in the first place, which is all funny. It's like, I'll read nerdy shit. I just feel like this is just kind of impenetrable. It just doesn't really succinctly clarify what the purpose of each thing is, what its history is, and why I should care about it. Instead, it's like listing where it's used and other stuff that's like impenetrable because it just means name dropping tons of things. So I don't know. Let's do a poll in the comments right now. Like, let me know. Can you tell what's going on from all the stuff I'm reading? Do I sound silly? Like I just can't understand basic words and you actually follow everything? Or are you also like, what the fuck is this game saying? Because, I don't know. If the developer happens to be here, first of all, sorry. But that could be useful information. Although at this point, given the game that has like FMVs in it, I don't know how much you can do to fix that. Well, you could potentially rewrite the codex entries and all the letters and notes, and maybe that would even elevate the FMVs, because it'd be hard to fix those without re-recording them, and that'd be a huge problem for the budget, potentially. But if the rest of the game around them is more comprehensible, then maybe those FMVs are more emotionally involved because you at least can tell what they're saying. The Mayorta tube portal. Mayorta tube portals, also known as Mayorta gas portals or tube portals, you gotta pick one, man, are fairly powerful devices operated by a poisonous toxic gas called Mayorta, found in caves on the southern mountain ranges of Olujay, where Banoxy dragons still dwell. There's dragons? The dragon statues are literal? Oh, Jesus, sorry. A Paita is also required to operate them. And the activation can be done remotely to where the portal will open. On Olujay, they are usually built in dangerous areas, offering a means of escape. So they require a horrible poison gas that can kill you, but they're used to escape much more dangerous scenarios. I'm not sure if I understand why they need... I guess they must need different portals simply because every portal has to be actively powered by some kind of resource. And they just happen to have managed to parallel invent like 8 different portals that run on different power sources and with different rules. And they just kind of use whatever's local for in order to problem solve on the fly in a very like messy, asymmetrical way. Jalud portal. While Jalud crafts can depart directly from Olujay and travel to destinations on Neyyah, certain restricted access areas require a portal for Jalud travel, such as the Sky Chamber. These portals are known as Jalud portals, and each Neyyah site will have a Jalud portal built at a specific location, usually at the Lab HQ sector. They require transportation towers to operate, requiring 2 signals. Number in Operation 1? This is one of the things that actually has really genuinely thrown me, is that it did definitely feel like, since we started off with a Jalud portal, that the Jaluds were going to be really important to the game, and we were going to use the Jaluds constantly, and that was going to be how we navigate between the different settings. And that's kind of based on the elegance of Mist and Abduction, both being games where it's like, oh, here's the way of getting around. In Mist, you use a linking book to get around, and that's like the one consistent form of technology, basically. And in Abduction, you had whatever that technology was called that would like make a... it made like a globe of local space to switch places with that much space on a different planet, basically. Because like the local geology would just be swapped out too, in addition to you. So it's like a whole chunk of land would swap between the two. The game also had horrifically long loading times, unfortunately, at launch, every time you did that. But like they're both defined by a transit system being its primary sort of lore. Like Mist and Abduction are primarily defined around the way you get around. That's like their key lore bit, and then you go and do puzzles in those locations. So when we came in with a Jalud globe inside of a Jalud portal, I'm like, oh, okay, so in this game you get into a bathysphere and it goes into a portal. That's how you change worlds. Then immediately we learned several new types of portals that all seem completely different from each other. And then we find out here that that's the only Jalud portal, so it's actually like a weird one-off thing. I wonder why they felt the need to... Well, this is just for Neyyah Site 28, so maybe we'll go to a new location later with more Jaluds in it, and it'll be more location dependent. Otherwise, it just feels very narratively inefficient to introduce the Jalud portal, only for it to never come up again if there's no more of them in the entire story. That just seems like a strange call. Either way, there are 9 separate portal entries, and among those 9 portals, there's like 14 names for portals, which is just... That's a wild choice. Okay, console data. Neyyah Site 28 depends on a lot on our technology and machines to keep running efficiently. A lot of these machines have been built in Olujay and installed across various Neyyah sites. Important data systems are set up on the Banox computer system to receive vital information on particular consoles, such as Trondi counts from the Holtish servers, readings from the Felitsu root consoles at the Felitsu Dome, and location settings for the Jetuke portal technology connecting the Neyyah Spore Collection Pool and Spore Docks 1. Holtish data. Ooh. So these are the symbols of the fuses I have, right? Holtish servers were created to read amounts of energy generated at the heater servers. They were designed by Lyson M. Holtish at Oloxus Heating Systems when the heaters were originally installed at the Neyyah heater chamber. Trondi counts are generated at the Holtish consoles through the use of fuses. Inspect each Holtish server linked to the Banox computer system. Once the fuse is charged, Trondi readings will be sent from the Holtish servers to this database. Holtish inactive, no data available. Huh. So are they implying that if I put these back in the consoles I took them out of, that it'll tell me what the Trondi data is? But that looks different. So I think this is a different console, and if I take these fuses to that, I can read them at this computer, and then if I take them back to where I found them from, I might be able to put the Trondi data in to do something. But let's do root data. Vamir Dahili, head scientist of Olujay and operation manager of Paita Manufacturing Systems, has been developing a new power source for Olujay using natural elements from Faramore. The Felitsu plant grows a root that, when mixed with specific chemicals, can generate a power source. Specific roots and chemical quantities are currently being tested at the Felitsu Dome on Arrival Sector. This source of power could become an alternative to Paitas. Spores that grow on Gofyunke mushrooms are also being tested. Select one of the Felitsu root pods to view current readings. Pelakite scale reading. Okay, so this is weak, neutral, strong. Pelakite is the chemical produced by the Felitsu roots, which, when harnessed correctly, can generate power. A mix of chemicals along with seawater enables root to produce pelakite. So we've seen these meters before, and the room where this stuff is happening. Now we have more context here. Like there's... They're trying to... Yeah, the stuff in here is supposed to generate stuff. Okay. So yellow is bad and orange is good, and there's a really weird grading of color between those that awkwardly ignores that yellow and orange are adjacent to each other, so they aren't amazing colors to compare. Error detected. Attempting to identify a problem. Interference with symbol light. Attempting to receive data. Unsuccessful. No data received. Check pod 2 for faults. So something's wrong with pod 2. This one's green, which is actually bad. Red is okay. But yeah, this pod 1 is the strongest. We're probably gonna have to follow up on this and figure out what's going on with that particular pod. Jatuk portal shift. Jatuk portal technology, also known as Jatuk lens technology, everything has multiple names, ceased upon Neyyah Site 28 after electromagnetic interference from local marine wildlife, weakening transit power within the plasma of the Talida portals. However, one portal still contains this old Jatuk technology, enabling the portal to shift between two locations. This has been set up to enable faster spore delivery, connecting the Neyyah spore pool collection to the Spore Docks 1 site. After the Jatuk portal from either camera sector or Spore Docks 1 is on the console. Alter the Jatuk power. Alter the Jatuk power from either camera sector or Spore Docks 1 on this console. So I can toggle it. It's currently in camera sector. And I can move it to Spore Docks. Where is that? So I don't think I've ever been there before, right? I think I've never been to either variation of where this can go. Neyyah heater chamber status. Locate information regarding current activity for the heater's plasma shield, Neyyah plant, and Spore Docks delivery shuttle. There is a live update on any problems being detected at the chamber. Heaters. The heaters require external power to be activated. Once in operation, stay clear from the collection pool. 4 times heaters will disconnect the spores from Neyyah once it's lowered into the pool. Turn off heaters before collecting spores for delivery at Spore Docks 1. Neyyah, a sacred plant to Olujay, providing our land with medicinal properties to strengthen our community. Garments and ornaments to serve in our appreciation and worship of Kerhelta Volka, and aiding in the crucial development of the Laflomian portal at the Ronalda Temple. Vasaltians assisted in rebuilding our world once they discovered us here on Faramore, and this involved the shared use of the Neyyah plant, only to wage war against us once they decided we were too much of a burden to them. Spores are collected from the plant once lowered by the Neyyah into the heater chambers. The Neyyah lowers these plants. So this whole site is named after this plant. The Neyyah lowers a Neyyah plant into the heater chamber, and then spores are then cultivated. That is an insane sentence to write, by the way. This is listen to this. This is one sentence. Fizalchians assisted in rebuilding our world once they discovered us here on Feamor, comma, and this involved the shared use of the Neyyah plant, hyphen, only to wage war against us, comma, once they decided we were too much of a burden to them. It's like, what? Forcing that bit about the Neyyah plant into that sentence makes that a nightmarish sentence to hold in your brain while you're reading it and derive meaning from. Like, it's just wild. If you remove that, it's like, okay, Fizalchians assisted in rebuilding our world once they discovered us here on Feamor, only to wage war against us once they decided that we were too much of a burden. Which is rude. Why are they helping people and then deciding that they're a burden? But at least that's a comprehensible sentence. But that tangent being inserted in the middle of it is a very, like, ADHD parenthetical statement kind of thing to put in. Current location point A. Shield. The Neyyah plant must be protected and nurtured at all costs to make sure potent Neyyah spores are grown on every Neyyah site. Unfortunately, a species of fish known as the Zyphor fish seem to populate the Neyyah heater chamber with a hunger for the spores. A plasma shield has been set up on the outside of the chambers to prevent the fish from entering the pool when the spores are being harvested. The Neyyah, so this is the thing that lowers them into the heater. Neyyah Site 28 is now equipped with the Neyyah Platinum Series model, providing the top quality performance needed to grow and harvest the best Neyyah spores. Operation requires the use of 2 external computer systems to lower it from point A to point B locations. An activation cabinet can provide fuel, which needs to be powered remotely. The Neyyah cradles and lowers the Neyyah into the Neyyah cradles and lowers the Neyyah into the heater chambers ready for spore harvesting. Currently in location A. A chute, spelled like that though. To enable the delivery of higher spore quantities, a recent chute and portal system has been set up in the Neyyah Site 28. Spores can be sent via workers at the Neyyah heater chamber through the entry chute located there. A Shruyuki portal is currently in use to transfer the spores to another worker, positioned at an exit chute which is constructed at the Toledo portal, leading to the Spores Docks 1. Spores Docks 1 is also just strange to me. Why is it Docks? Spores Docks 1, but it's numbered. So you think it'd be referring to a specific one. The chute will remain inactive until another spore harvest is imminent, operated remotely on Olujay. Live update. Attention required. Foreign object detected in the pool of Neyyah heater chambers. Attempting to identify. Unsuccessful. Oops. Pressed a weird button. Did I stop recording? No. Okay. I missed F12 slightly. I think I hit F12 and print screen at the same time. Let's see. Did I get a reusable screenshot? Okay. Emails. The fact that they're called emails is a little funny, given everything else. Okay. Cletext Communications provide you with the ability to track with remote connections on Olujay while working on Neyyah Site 28. You have access to all emails in this section of the Banox computer system. Wakhara security systems updates sender blocked. 4 days ago. Dear Vamir, I am following up service operations required to be carried out on the 2 VED N80 security doors you have installed on Neyyah Site 28. We attempted to contact you a year ago, but we did not receive any response. Your last service was conducted by Martin H. Kleshin on blah blah blah, and updates are available. I'm also informing you that a few accounts have been hacked lately. I recommend not using WSS card details for passcodes, either online or for door lock mechanisms. We want to ensure you have the best possible security service we can provide here at Wakara Security Systems, and apologize for any inconvenience this recent attack may have caused. Feel free to arrange a meeting with us at our offices located in the Wakara district, Neyyah Petarn. I don't know what to do with this. This is disorienting. It feels like we're in a relatively small setting with relatively few characters who themselves seem to be talking about being trapped here. So them having access to like a company via email, are those people here? I get maybe an Olujay or something, but like they're accessible and local. It's like, what is the villain trying to reach? I thought they were stuck somewhere and he's trying to get back to his home, but like they're in some kind of like developed place with enough population to justify having a place called Wakara Security Systems, and they have the internet and email, which is all very disorienting when you, frankly, when you don't know what's going on in the story and your reference point is being like, well, maybe it's like Mist. You're like, oh, that's not the elements I expect to be in play at all. Alucious heating systems, pipes, and heater servers. 1 month ago. To the attention of Vamir Dahili, this email is in response to our meeting alongside our protector, Smollax Memett, in regards to his concerns with the current heater system set up on Neyyah Site 28. After reviewing the current setup you have running, we've decided to begin installation of new pipes which will carry the heater server cables from the heater servers. Carry the heater server cables from the heater servers. I guess that makes sense. It's just slightly awkward. Through the Lodvik Tower and into the Neyyah heating chamber. I hope you have received the prototype pipe already. This metal will enable more protection for the cables and withstand hotter temperatures once the system is powered. Smollax has also decided to heighten security on the use of the fuse boxes on the heater servers. Rather than using only the Trondi counts generated by the Holtish machines, they need to be multiplied by certain numbers. Well, that's going to come up later. I'll leave these numbers for you to decide upon. The results will be the numbers required to power the fuse boxes. I'm also glad you decided on a remote source of power for the overall activation of heater servers. I respected your wish not to interfere too much with the old Fizaltian technology you seem to latch onto. The Lodvik Tower died away years ago, ever since the first ocean portal was constructed. I believe Smollax has already made you aware of his lack of interest in continuing to use Fizaltian technology. I strongly recommend casting your gaze upon newer systems that could provide longer life for Site 28 at less expense. Please consider alternative systems for the operation of the heaters. The support delivery there is fruitful. I beg you, don't squander it over the love you have for a world only shrouded in ghosts. Yaman Kloit, Director of Aluxis Heating Systems. Huh. It's like one of the primary points of drama is that our guy likes what is functionally like Denis, and the new guy's like, fuck that place, don't care. Smollax doesn't give a shit. And I don't have a reason to side with one guy versus the other, because I don't really know what the benefit is of romanticizing the old technology or sticking to it. Like, it is just technology. It's there to serve a purpose, right? So if it doesn't serve its purpose well, then maybe we don't need to care about it anymore. Cletex Communication Center. Attention, Vamir Dahili. Hope this email finds you well. Connections between Neyyah Site 28 and Spordocs 2 and 3 have now been permanently disconnected. While discussions were had with Smollax Memett, our Lord and Protector, regarding the possibility of reopening these docks for storage unit usage, the final decision has been made to cease any further work to renovate. Members of the Ronalda Temple have made it clear that instant delivery of spores results in much more sustainable and lucrative production outcomes. We ensure a strong transmission signal continues for the Talita portal you have assigned to enter Spore Docks 1. Lael Cloit, Communications Manager. Huh. Well, whatever this war is for new and old technology, it does seem to be losing it at the moment. Alright, a couple more things to look into, but I'm going to have to take a break because we're going a little over time, but whew! Big lore. We at minimum need to look through it all because it might come up as a puzzle solution, and we need to kind of be aware of what's here. I'm definitely not able to take much of it in while I'm reading it, but I definitely need to have like the reference material ready, because some of it presumably solves a puzzle at some point, is what I'm guessing.